talking about, we are plotting numbers on the coordinate plane. And to get to plotting numbers on the coordinate plane, we start with plotting numbers or graphing numbers on the number line. And we start our numbers with integers. Integers are whole numbers. Some people call integers counting numbers. Integers can be negative or positive, and they can be found on the number line. Remember, they're whole numbers, so they can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and it can be 0. In our number systems, we also have fractions and decimals. We call fractions and decimals rational numbers. These can be graphed on the number line too. When we graph numbers on the number line, we're going to start with integers. Those are the whole numbers. They're the counting numbers. If I have a 3, I graph that on the right side of the number line, the right side of 0, because it's a positive number. And I start at 0 and I hop 1, 2, 3, hops until I get to the number 3, and I graph my point. If I want to graph number 2 on the number line, I start at 0 and I take 1, 2 hops to the -2 and I graph that. So that's how I graph integers on the number line. Graphing fractions or rational numbers on the number line sounds kind of scary, but you can do it. Let's try. Okay? So here's my number line. And I've got my positive numbers on the right and my negative numbers on the left of the 0. Okay? And let's say I want to graph 1 and 3/4. First of all, I'm going to look at this 1 and 3/4, and I don't see a negative sign in front of it. So I know it's going to be graphed on the right side of the 0. It's a positive number. Now when I look at 1 and 3/4, I know that it's more than 1, right? Because it has additional fraction on the side. But is this more than 2? Is 1 and 3/4 more than 2? No, it's not. So I know that it's going to be between the 1 and between the 2. When I'm graphing my fraction, I'm going to look at my denominator, my number 4. That's how many spaces I want between the 1 and the 2. Okay, so I want 1 space, 2 space, 3, 4. Do you see where I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces? All right. Some people look at the denominator and they see the 4 and they take 1 away, so it'd be 3, and they draw 3 lines between the 1 and 2. And you have to have even spaces between those lines. So you can either do the spaces, 4 spaces, or take 1 away and do 3 lines. Now I'm going to graph 1 and 3/4. So I go to 1, and then I'm going to go 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. So that's my graph right there. When I get to 2, that would be 4/4, wouldn't it? 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. That would be 4/4. That's the same as 1. 1 plus 1 more is 2. Do you see that? Now let's plot -2 and 6/7. Wow, that looks scary. -2 and 6/7. When I look at -2 and 6/7, I know I'm going to go to the left of the 0. I'm going to look at 2 and 6/7. Is that more than 2? Yes. Is it more than 3? No. So it's going to go between the 2 and the 3. Now I look at my bottom number, my denominator is 7. So I either want 7 spaces or 6 lines, okay? Let's do the 6 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? 6 lines. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spaces. I go to the -2 and I have 1 7, 2 7s, 3 7s, 4 7s, 5 7s, 6 7s, and then the 3 would be 7 7s. That's the same as 1. 2 plus 1 more is 3. 2 and 6 7s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I would graph it right there. That is my graph for 2 and 6 7s. Not too bad, is it? Pretty easy? You just have to take your time and think about it and just pull all the pieces apart. Now friends, we said that rational numbers can be fractions or decimals. You can graph decimals too, okay? We can also graph decimals on the number line. First, you have to convert your decimal to a fraction though. We look at place value when we determine the fraction. Remember our place value, you have your decimal, and then you have tenths, hundredths, thousands. You'll probably never use thousands when you're graphing. You'll use tenths and hundreds. What do you think 0.66 would be as a fraction? Well, we have tens and hundreds, so that would be 66 over 100. Now, can I make that smaller? Yes, I can. I can divide this by 2. I can divide the bottom, whatever you do to the top, do to the bottom. And I would get 33 50ths. Okay? That means that you would have to graph that. You'd have to make 50 spaces between the two numbers. That's a lot, but we've done that in class, okay? We are working, friends, on a number line, and this is what it looks like. This is the worksheet you brought home. Why do ducks make great detectives? Most of you are almost done with this, but if you're not, go ahead and rewind and look at the video to help you graph these fractions and these decimals, friends. If you have any questions, message me on Dojo and I will help you, okay?